public limited companies have the letters PLC after their name. It means that their shares can be bought and sold by members of the general public. The main advantage of being a PLC is the ability to raise large amounts of capital from the sale of shares. Now, a PLC has to have £50,000 worth of shares to get going. Some of these shares might be bought by individuals, some of the shares might be bought by other companies as well, but the ability to raise large sums of money is a key advantage of being a PLC. Banks often see PLCs as lower risk and so sometimes are willing to lend them money. So it's easier to borrow money as a PLC. As with private limited companies, shareholders, so people who have shares, are only liable for the amount they have invested in the business should the business get into financial difficulties. So their liability is limited to the money they have invested, which means they can't lose their personal possessions. The fact that they can raise large amounts of capital means that they can expand and diversify the businesses. So they could open new shops, they could buy new warehouses, they could expand overseas, because having this money available makes it easier to expand. One of the problems with a PLC, though, is that because the shares are on sale to the general public, a PLC has no control over who buys them. So if any person or group buys 51% of the shares, the overall ownership of the business will change. Now, this can't happen with private limited companies without the full agreement of the shareholders, and that's one of the key differences between private and public limited companies. Public limited companies, there is always the possibility of a takeover. Now, because these companies are large and tend to have complicated structures, they can be expensive to set up and operate. A PLC must have £50,000 worth of shares as a minimum. With large organisations, there can be a complex management structure to control all of the operations. This may be expensive and time-consuming and can be inefficient compared to smaller businesses, because you need more people to manage it. There may be more offices, more buildings, more sites. It may be spread over many countries and even continents. So there can be a complex management structure because of the size of the organisation. The final disadvantage is that the financial information is available to the public. So this means that your competitors have vital information available to them about whether, if they were thinking of trying to take over your business, they're allowed to see your accounts because they have to be published publicly. Really important for the competitors of your business. Okay, that is public limited companies.